Hi, I'm Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden. Nearly every day, especially during the summer, I have a customer that comes in and asks, how do we keep our hanging baskets looking so amazing? Well, we've been doing it through the hot, dry summers here in Utah for years, and we have a secret recipe that just produces amazing results no matter what the weather does. It's just a few easy steps, and I can show you today exactly how to do it too. First, and this is the most critical component, use a soil hydration aid like Easy Wet to keep the basket fully hydrated. When the summer heat kicks in, what happens is the soil dries out, and as it dries out, it shrinks and it pulls away from the sides of the pot. And so you may think you're watering your baskets fully, but what happens is the water just drains out around the outside of the soil where it has pulled away from the sides of the pot, and the water just runs out the bottom. You think you've hydrated the basket completely. What the Easy Wet does, it binds to the soil, and every time you water, it hydrates the basket fully all the way through, especially right where the root zone is, right in the middle of the pot, instead of just running down the outsides of the pot and out the bottom. So the Easy Wet is really the most critical component to our secret recipe, because you've got to hydrate those baskets every day. Easy Wet lasts for about 3 weeks, and so we use it every 2 weeks throughout the summer. Next, use a compost tea on your hanging baskets. Most potting soils naturally lack microbes and microorganisms and all that beneficial soil biology just because of the nature of the potting soil. Using a fertilizer like Seedlinger's Universal Plant Food, which has natural proteins, the microbes, the microorganisms, just amazing soil biology, using that once every 2 weeks on your plants will keep your soil so it acts the way it's supposed to, so it functions the way it's supposed to. So it'll absorb water, it'll absorb nutrient, and it breaks down and frees that nutrient up, and basically we're feeding the soil to feed your plants. Third step is to fertilize, fertilize, fertilize. What a lot of people don't realize is that every time you water these baskets, the water picks up that nutrient that's there and it leaches it right out the bottom. When it's really hot during the summer, you've got to water every single day, and some people even water multiple times a day, and it just leaches all the fertilizer out. So you've got to fertilize very consistently. We start with a 20-20-20 fertilizer, high in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The high nitrogen is amazing to keep the baskets so that they grow and they cascade out. So you need that high nitrogen to get a plant like this. And this is a Supertunia, a Vista Supertunia. They are heavy, heavy feeders. And if you don't feed them a lot, they won't cascade down and give you this nice growth. But then next, we'll use a blooming and rooting fertilizer with a really high phosphorus, which encourages blossoms like crazy. So a blooming and rooting fertilizer will just keep your baskets blooming and blooming and blooming all summer. So the key to this is to fertilize frequently. We use the all-purpose on Mondays, and we use the blooming and rooting on Thursdays. So twice a week at a minimum, we're fertilizing our baskets. Otherwise, your plants are starving throughout the week. If you're only fertilizing once every 2 weeks, once every week, your plants just aren't getting the nutrient that they need, especially when they're such heavy feeders like these petunias. So the key is fertilize, fertilize, fertilize. The other problem that you might encounter is diseases and insects. We get tobacco budworms that attack our petunias, and so once every 2 weeks we'll use a product like the Fertilome 2-in-1 Systemic, which has a systemic insecticide as well as a contact insecticide and a systemic fungicide in there to control any diseases or any insects that might attack the plant throughout the growing season. So once every 2 weeks, and that will work on contact as well as systemically to give you a nice long residual for controlling insects and diseases. The real key to success and to keeping your baskets looking amazing is consistency and persistence. Of course, we want those baskets to stay hydrated throughout the summertime, so it's critical that you use the Easy Wet to keep those baskets and the soil hydrated all the way through. Make sure you use a compost tea to build the natural soil microbes and microorganisms up and really feed your soil so that the soil can feed your plants. And then rotate those fertilizers. Use a high nitrogen in conjunction with a high phosphorus, and rotate those throughout the week so that your plants will get all the nutrients that they need to really keep blooming and looking great all summer long.